You're watching NewsView with Lee Sullivan.
Welcome back. Visiting with Ron Hart, author now, amongst other things, columnist. The book, No Such Thing as a Pretty Good Alligator Wrestler. And the suggestion is if you're not very good, then either you're eating or you lost pieces and parts of yourself. And your skill set goes down if you lose pieces and parts of yourself. Barack Obama has made a career, as short as it may be, about blaming George, if I may call him George, and of course I may, Bush, about all of the evil and mendacity in the world. Right. How long does that movie play?
Well, Obama blames Bush for the wars. Bush blames Bill Clinton for not getting bin Laden. It goes downhill. Bill Clinton blames the dry cleaners for not getting the stain out of Michael Leski's dress. I mean, it all goes downhill.
Cascades.
It cascades downhill. I mean, poor Carter's the only one left to take it all. That's to me, it got tired after the first month. But he seems to still want to point that he inherited a mess. But the question to him is, what have you done to help the mess? I mean, you've done nothing but make it worse. You said you were going to stop unemployment at 8% by the stimulus package. It's gone to 10, probably going to 11. In reality, it's 17%. You can take the people that aren't looking for jobs anymore. It's an awful situation. There was a poll recently that said that even right now, that people that are unemployed, 25% of the people blame George Bush for their unemployment. The other 75% blame the fact they were art history majors, but they still blame Bush disproportionately to Obama about their lack of a job. So,
no, my cousin,
Yeah.
he's a history major.
Yeah.
He found a great job at IRS.
The IRS,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's their employer of last resort, the government, and that's the only place the jobs have grown are in the government. I mean, the government can't employ everybody. They got to tax somebody at some point to get these government jobs. So. He's been a terrible disaster in terms of economic policy, and he's making it worse. He's doubling down on a bad hand. He's talking about the stimulus too, which is just a handout to the unions and his favorite people.
Crap! What about the unions? I mean, listen, I mean, you talk about sell your soul out. I mean, did they get a ride on this health care plan or what?
He's completely
I've never been a union guy, but I'm seeing the joy in that thing.
No, most Americans aren't, and unions aren't held in high esteem by most people. But he is completely beholden to them because they are his thugs. I mean, the service unions employees group, they're his enforcers. They go out and push people around. They make people see it his way. It's almost like a mafia business.
Well, the banks are taking it in the shorts, as the crotch bomber would say. So he creating that diversity, creating hatred of many for a few, has been a pretty good. I mean, they got it down to an art form.
That's what the Democrats do best. They make a straw person enemy. They make a boogeyman. In the case of the bankers who made money, they're going to make them to be evil. They don't mention the fact that they regulated the banks. They don't mention the fact that Christopher Dodd was the one and Barney Frank had their fingerprints all over the regulation of the banks. They're the
Barney
ones
had his fingerprints all over Dodd.
Yeah, Barney Frank is, he's a piece of work. But he's a big egotistical. He's what's the problem with Washington. He's been there forever. And the problem with the Detroit bomber, we talked about it earlier, and other situations, the problem with Washington is when everybody's responsible, no one's responsible. When something happens poorly, they all point the finger around to each other and they move it on. And they try to vilify the insurance companies, the banks, the entrepreneurs in the country. And that's the biggest trouble with this administration. It's going to be our biggest problem down the road. When you vilify the entrepreneurs who start businesses, who create jobs and pay the taxes, then our country's not going to grow, and we got a big problem.
When we come back a little bit, if I may, about I think a little bit about the difference between how we hold the banks, as it were, and how we hold the car companies, and maybe what in the world is Ford Motor Company doing.
Right.
Ron Hart, don't go away.